weeks or so, we get a bit of a better idea.
Honestly, I think, for SPS, it is also pretty interesting because last season we also had a patch drop in the middle of the tournament.
Yeah.
And that is like throughout the top 6 playoffs as well. That was when Minnesota got reworked, and now we have a new one. But thankfully, it's at the start of the tournament, right? So there's more time for the team to adjust. We are, we might be, graced with the new hero in a couple of days because the embargo is going to be lifted. Hopefully that's going to be the case. And it also comes at a time where we narrow down the teams, right? Because we'll be halfway through the Swift stage, the Swiss stage.
Yeah. You know what? You bring up a really good point here. By the time they're actually able to get their hands on Novaria, it'll be very interesting to see what people on the internet have really done with her, right? Like, where does she really go? Can you put her in the support position, technically? Because a lot of her abilities, quote-unquote, long range, and they reveal people. So, something to abuse, possibly.
I mean, go on social media, go on your TikTok. You can see a lot of those clips. And those editings are unique.
are very, very interesting.
Not for those with epilepsy, but aside from that, it's very enjoyable. I love it. I love the music. I love everything.
Oh, it's great. It's great here. Hopefully we get to see something exciting in this particular draft here. I know that the Singaporean, so far the Singaporeans have brought some of the more unique picks so far.
Yeah.
Today.
We definitely have seen it, and also their kind of how they perceive the drafting phase, right? What they are reading into in judging by what the opponents are drafting. I mean, Alchemy SG is a decent benchmark for now, and in terms of how they ban against RSG MY. We see the Estes somehow being a focus. They were taking out Franco, even though they needed them a bit more. And I do wonder if that is kind of a trend in the Singaporean scene.
I suppose. It's a little tough, right? Every time I go check out the Singaporean scene, it gets a little weird. Like, you see a lot of standard stuff, and then you have like RSG, SGs like Diablo playing like Paquito, Khalid, and what's the famous one? Badang in the EXP lane. Does it work? It works for him, I guess.
If you had... If there's one thing I learned in recent weeks is that if you have faith, things can work out. Faith and family.
Yeah,
but faith first.
Some orc magic going on here from 40k. Now, looking into the draft, it looks like it's pretty standard so far. It's going to be the Farmers as well as the Kaja. You see the Join as well as the Arlet being banned out from the side of Team SMG. I like that a lot because at least it shows understanding of the draft.
Yeah, and this Farmers ban, I wonder if it would prompt SMG Singapore to consider the glue ban, right? Because Valentina is going to be taken out by Red Esports, one of the classic artillery mages. So now you open up both the Eve and the Farsa, which we have not seen yet, especially the Farsa.
Yeah, the Farsa has not been getting any showings because usually either Farmis or Valentina is going to be up, and it's always worth stealing a Eve's ultimate over the Farsa ultimate because of the utility that it provides. Team SMG, though, running out of time, 26 more seconds until they get their lock in for their final ban in the first phase.
Wonder what the decision is going to be. I mean, for me, I'm looking at the glue, right? It feels very straightforward for Team SMG to take it out. But we have seen solutions to the glue. Also, they're going to let it through. Lancelot takes priority.
Okay, alright. Lancelot's going to take priority here. So that means Red Esports, their first pick... I mean, Fanny is still wide open, but I'm not sure if any of the players here... I know Amal can play Fanny, technically, and I think that's what Red Esports is debating right now, but it might be a little too early to show... Yeah, Wanwan, there we go.
But even then, if Team SMG wants to prep for potential Fanny, I suppose you can still kind of set it up in the first phase, right? I mean, there's the Franco. Again, it's an option, but that's more of a second phase pick. They have decent openings. The Eve is out there. They also have, I guess, if they want the Fredrin, they can pick it up also.
Arlot is already banned out. 1-1.
Oh, the glue, right?
Yeah, glue is probably going to be at least one of the pickups for the side of Team SMG, but I think they might want to consider getting a Melissa early on just to make sure that glue can actually access the backline rather than just get zoned out. You split and then you're standing outside of get away from me. It feels pretty bad.
It does. SMG biding a time also. The glue gets picked up and the Beatrix. So Melissa ends up going through. Not not that it matters too much, right? I mean, 1-1 has already been picked by Red Esports.
So with the Beatrix on their side, they want to play for more of an early game composition, right? So they need a strong mid lane to make this work. Red Esports, they could go for the Benedetta to just be uninteractable. With the glue, generally, you'll be able to clear the waves a lot faster. You're going to be a lot more effective, especially for the upcoming team fights ahead around neutrals, because you just move faster than literally everybody else in the game.
Instant Franco pick for Red Esports. A deny pick as well, right? You don't see much of the... Oh, wow. You don't see Franco getting picked so early often.
Yeah. I don't know what prompted that, to be fair.
Are they just worried that SMG would take Franco or something?
Unless they lock in Yves here almost straight away. Okay, no. Instead, they're going to go for the Farsa. They just want the raw damage to zone out as many of the members from the side of Team SMG.
Whoever gets hooked dies instantly, right?
Yes, yes. Well, that should be the case. We never really know with these matchups, though.
That's true. With the Lancelot ban now, I mean, there's one less option, right? One of the better heroes that to dive backline has decent iframes to work with. That's not something that SMG could go for anymore.
This could be a Hellcurt angle.
Yeah, I mean, it locks out a lot of the junglers, right? I mean, Ling also feels bad when you have a Franco lurking around.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, you don't want a jungler that is dependent on one particular buff, because you're going to get slowed down by a lot here. So I think that Team SMG opting to go for the Grok, not that bad, a little bit more flexible here with... They can basically interchange the same roles as Glue. I'm very curious to see what the jungler is going to be for the side of Team SMG, though.
Is Glue still a decent roamer?
He's like okay in certain situations. Right. I would say that Grok overall is just better in terms of just raw impact, but Glue definitely has his moments.
Fanny banned out by SMG finally. That was not gonna be, I mean, they don't really have a way to deal with Fanny at this point, right? Since the Franco has already been snatched away. Red Esports probably looking to take out the mage and the jungler. We're gonna go down the list at this point. Frederick completely ignored up to this point.
Yeah, I don't think the junglers matter too much here, right? Because it's all about like sitting on top of the objective and how long can you actually tank it for it. Considering Team SMG's current lineup, you've already got 2 tanks. A 3rd tank isn't going to really make a difference. I would think that they want to play for Marnus more than anything else. And Red Esports, they're just making sure that they kind of cover all their angles, right? We start off with the Candida, a natural counter to the Farsa. As soon as the Petrify connects, Farsa basically is going to get 100 to 0. Team SMG, on the other hand, ban out the Hayabusa to make sure they can keep this Beatrix alive.
Yeah, we've seen some nasty Hayabusa plays so far. I mean, I bet Team SMG is also has also been watching the broadcast to a certain extent. You know, they've seen what the Hayabusa could do. We go back to the Hellcurt. Like you did mention that earlier on.
I think the Hellcurt it's an interesting spot to be in, right? Because you want to be able to silence your opponents and still have your passive up for when you get hit by CC to silence people again. But the big thing is that you can just turn off the lights, right? All artillery mages are going to lose line of sight of what exactly is happening. Like when you drop the feathered airstrike or even the real war manipulation, you're basically doing it blind.
Now, even the Eve is still up there. I'm not sure if Red Esports have this one last ban. That could be the final ban that's going to come true. And yeah, Eve is taken out. So we're going to go down the list. What? Lilia, Lunox. I mean, there's a Xavier, but it's a hero that we just don't see anymore.
Yeah, Xavier is a little bit slow. It actually isn't too bad in this particular matchup, because at least when Xavier finally scales, he basically spams his ultimate, which puts Wanwan down rather low, or at least chunks out 40% of her HP every time it connects.
Yeah, it's also not that hard to land on Farsa if she's in the out form, right? Like,
that's also true, yes.
Some ways to go with it. I mean, for SMG, they don't have to worry about that. It depends on what they want to prioritize. Do we want to review our mage now, when there's 2 more picks left for Red Esports? I feel like the Hellcurt could be a better pick if they decide to go for it.
Yeah, but I feel like revealing it this early on might hurt them. So instead,
okay,
Kai,
beefing up the front line.
All right, beefing up the front line even more. Kai can knock people out of position. It kind of deters Red Esports to actually pick up an assassin. Is there anything better right now? I mean, Martis probably, because you already have like a strong early game with the help of Franco, and both of you could probably get some picks across the map.
Martis does feel like the go-to one, right? So, I mean, I don't think Ling is an option at this point in time anymore.
Yeah,
It's,
I don't think Ling is probably well. I think Ling is still doable, right? It depends on what Red Esports want to achieve. Do they want to play for a little bit more of a dive heavy, or do they want to play traditional front to front? And in this case, it looks like they accept the invitation to a traditional front to front.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at SMG, they have 3 very beefy front lines, and Omar, to say he doesn't mind taking on these extended fights, right? Same as Fredrin, they have the health pool, especially for Fredrin. I want to soak up the damage, I want to return the favor. And as long as they can get this 1-1 going, I think SMG, SG, regardless of how many tanks they have, they're going to be still going to suffer. The fact that no Lolita was picked up, right? This 1-1 pick was revealed like right at the start.
Yeah, I mean, for the side of Red Esports, I mean, locking in that Franco blind, I think definitely might have hurt them a little bit, but we'll see how they recover. Team SMG, on the other hand, who is there?
Oh, there it is.
Ah, there we go, Xavier.
Feels like you have to, right? It's either that or Lilia, I guess. But in terms of scaling, if you want those late game, and honestly, there's only one guy that can catch it, which is the Franco. But even then, Franco have to go through all these big boys in front. So if this game drags out long enough, I think it's fair to say that SMG Singapore have a very good chance of just out-damaging Red Esports.
Yeah, they have a good scaling comp. The early game should fall into the hands of Red Esports, but it doesn't mean they're completely out of the game, right? Let's keep in mind that Wab will abuse the Demon Hunter sword, which goes through tanks pretty well, I would say. You know, yeah, just an opinion, but I think that Red Esports, if the early game doesn't go well for them, the mid game is only going to get worse, and the late game, it's basically a shutout unless we do see MelQT come up with a huge play.
So Red Esports, they are running against the clock, right, essentially?
I would say that they're running against the clock because mid game is where Team SMG is going to get strong.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. Game 1 of our 3rd set of the day. SMG Singapore against Red Esports. Another sort of an El Clasico between these two neighboring regions who know themselves way too much for their own good.
Way too much for their own good until we become one again.
Yes.
Until then, Red Esports, with the way that they need to be playing, it's all about that early aggression, right? Oh, they got the flicker out of P2.
That is the start that you want, and they even chunked them down to low health. It's gonna force an early recall, and that's Kim getting just full mid lane advantage. Ready.
It's going to be a slow game for the side of Team SMG. It's all about mirroring. It's all about responding to your opponents. You don't really need to do anything crazy because once you get the items, you will naturally have the damage to start one-shotting people. I feel like the onus is on Red Esports to speed up the game, to increase the tempo.
Oh, you have SMG. Well, for those who are confused, Supergirl is Yuki, right? This, if anyone's wondering why is there 6 guy in this team.
Don't worry about it. You're thinking too hard about it if that's where your head is at. Mid lane already getting cleared out super quick. The beauty of Grok over the glue.
It's just SMG able to stabilize things a little bit. I mean, Red Esports, they had to bring Amal up to the top side, and even then, it's not an easy target to go on, right? There's glue, decent health to work with, even at the flicker. Yeah, it's just ambitious thinking that Xavier's going to be there.
Yeah, it's just personally, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time to actually sit around to try and chunk out Supergirl to try and deny level 4s from both of them. The next wave is basically going to initiate it, and it's up to Amal to maintain this lead over Carl. Aaron actually making his way down.
That's massive damage onto Kim. He's down to half already. D's going to be there. They have Carl Tenzi using that heavy spin already, pushing everyone away, tries to get the turtle, but he resets his aggro, and meanwhile First Blood gets claimed by Aaron. As the Grok goes down, turtle completely resetted. SMG Singapore doesn't have much steam left in the tank. Supergirl can't hold on.
Yeah, but they're going to be able to get this first early turtle for themselves secured, all according to plan, unless...
Another hook, Carl Tenzi taunted, knocked up, and the Fredrin is just a big threat. No way to steal it. Well, I say no way, but they stole it anyways. Miku with the steal. They give a double over to Amal, but the turtle does go SMG's way.
No. Red Esports still got that. Amal still secured it despite everything. It was close. I will admit it was very close.
I thought he stole it. I was like, oh.
He almost got it there, but this is a great start for Red Esports, right? They're able to farm 3 kills on top of get the neutral objective, and now this is where Red Esports really need to speed up the games. Expect to see dives within the next 2 minutes.
I think he's just babysitting Mitsuri. So far, the only member on SMG side that has not, joined any of these skirmishes. Not that he needs to. Iron Hook does go wide, so Red Esports relinquishing control of this bottom river. I mean, Carl Tianzi, despite the early death, still keeping up with Amao in terms of levels.
Yeah, but he's got to make sure that he continues doing so. As soon as he falls behind 1 level, all these neutral objectives are basically uncontestable to him without some kind of outside help.
And this time, Amao just checking the brush. Not an easy fight to take. Both teams, again, Red Esports just mirroring SMG. You have the entire squad now on this bottom quadrant of the map.
Supergirl should be able to get out of this no problem with the help of the speed boost from the gates. Now, I think that Team SMG are playing this relatively well, right? They're not giving any space to Red Esports in their own jungle. They're stopping them from going for invades. They're denying them information, and more importantly, so they're preventing Red Esports to set up these dives, right? The 2-minute mark has already passed, and now the next neutral objective is already available to be contested for. And Team SMG, they're taking their sweet time with this on purpose.
Mao was able to get some harassment onto Mitsuri, forcing the flicker very early on. And that is a good window for Mao. If he can catch this Iron Hook, oh, that's going to be an easy kill. Turtle spawning topside also. And with D not being around, this is going to be a 3 versus 3 affair.
Aaron walking out with Feather Airstrike already coming out super early.
Yeah, losing majority of his health, but does have the split. Now latches onto Amao. Meanwhile, Carl Tenzi losing a lot of that health. Aaron just putting his body in front. This Akai can't do much. Supergirl finds his isolator, is going to detach himself. Carl Tenzi down low already, thanks to just this one Fredrin. D comes in to help, but the fight is already done, and Red Esports should get this turtle.
Yeah, and they want Team SMG to come and contest them again. They want them to try to fight because they know that they have this early game advantage, right? I do think that Kim's Feather Airstrike was a little suboptimal, targeting the blue instead of just focusing purely on Carl Tianzi. Man, it is funny. That is a very funny IGN.
It is. And then when you start pronouncing Xavier's IGN fully...
Look.
Dude, some IGNs are very memorable. I have my favorites.
Oh boy. This wave is going to get cleared out, but ooh, that Iron Hook was getting dangerously close.
Tactical roll, baby. That's that little bit of distance. Good enough. Oh, Mao still has his flicker, and there's always the threat. I mean, compared to having a Divine Judgment, definitely it's a bit harder if you're a Franco. But overall, now we see the level gap. Carl Tanzi half a level behind Amao. Bottom lane continues to get pressured. And it starts being a bit worrisome if you're a Savior and you're not getting space to farm the resources, right? Ideally, you will want that. Unleashing the full combo onto Mao and forcing the flicker out of him.
Yeah, but... again, very, very slow, methodical gameplay coming out from Team SMG. They know they're at, I wouldn't say a mechanical disadvantage, just a draft disadvantage at this stage of the game. Until we start seeing those first items start to come through, nothing is really going to happen here. Like, D, he can just block. He's just looking to block these Iron Hooks, trying to deny pressure, trying to make sure that Red Esports really have to work, grind their gears for at least a kill.
Yeah, and you have this isolated fight between Aaron and Supergirl. You can see the damage from Xavier just starting to ramp up just a little bit. That wave clear is only going to get stronger from here on out. What does he have? I know his net worth is almost the same as Kim.
Yeah. Well, tough to say until we see the item list. But for now, majority of the lead is coming in from Amal, who's been farming pretty handedly here. He is a level on top of Carl for now. We'll see how much he catches up when he clears the next. When he's gonna hit 10 off this wave? No, doesn't even hit 10. Yikes.
It's gonna be unlucky. It's gonna be hard to contest. We need to get Amal out of the way. Turtle resetting. Supergirl right in the front. Aaron will do the same, cutting through the backline of SMG Singapore. I mean, this Fredrin is so hard to whittle down. Look at this man.
Oh no, he's on top of Miku.
Yeah, he's gaining health, and meanwhile a solo kill, oh well, not really a solo kill, but a gang onto Missouri takes him out, and now for the airstrike use as well. Turtle Secured by Kao Tianzi. They should be able to get out of this. No more overcommitment. This 1-1 though is going to be a big problem. Iron Hook connecting onto D, not the target that they're looking for.
Oh, they back away. Red Esports giving away at one turtle, but still securing a single kill. This is a very slow-paced match. Red Esports at least crack open the top tier 1, allowing 1-1 to actually go for this lane swap to try and break the bottom tier 1 too. And I think that would be like extremely ideal. But instead, Red opt to say, hey, you know what? We already have a big sandbag down by the bottom side. Might as well, let's press the advantage up top and force Team SMG to come at us. We'll have some supporting cast members ready to support you.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a pause from the side of SMG Singapore. We'll keep you guys updated on the status. But so far, this bit reminiscent on the first series. Just slow gameplay between RCMY and Alchemy Singapore. And so far, the Red Esports, though slow, but it's pretty methodical, right? They are slowly dissecting the map and getting those ganks off. I think I would definitely say SMG Singapore, they did take the eyes off of that Franco for just a little bit. They lost their marksman.
Exactly. And no, that's the thing, right? When you are playing Franco, you're looking for those opportunities, you're looking for those windows, and especially since Red Esports are the ones who are trying to be the aggressors, Team SMG has been holding them back quite a bit, right? You would have preferred to see a lot more clashes, a lot more threats, but Red Esports purposefully dragging out these turtle fights, making sure that Team SMG, even if they feel slightly hungry to steal away the neutral objective, they will have to put themselves in danger, and that's all that Red could ask for, because again, SMG right now very uninteractive until they have the items, and that's not really going to change for the next, what, 6 minutes or so.
Oh, for sure. We're in for the long haul, for sure. Is this a game where SMG don't really care too much about losing objective to Red Esports, or do you think it's still equally important, even though they have the middle lane?
I think that if they can get steals onto turtles, that's fine. Lords, that's when it's extremely important, right? Because that's when you have to start thinking about your Lord empowered minions, for an example, and you have a bunch of tanks and only 2 real damage dealers, so your wave clear and high ground defense is never going to be as good in comparison to Red Esports right now.
Yeah, well, the saving grace is that they have 2 very strong wave clearers, right?
Yes!
Xavier Beatrix is like, kind of solves a bit of that problem, even against Lord empowered minions. But overall, I mean, with what, 4-1 so far, Red Esports, they don't really have a substantial lead over SMG. It's kind of just bits and pieces.
Yeah, a lot of it is just going down to how much money can they actually funnel down into this Wanwan, right? Unlocking her out of the lane is already a big plus point. Being able to steal away maybe 1 or 2 camps on her way down to neutral fights, slowly but surely, Wanwan is going to be a significant threat.
Is 1-1 going to have enough output though to kind of cut right through SMG?
Yes. She should have more than enough output, especially once she gets her 4th item. I definitely think that she is going to have to spec into a Malefic Roar at some point, because of course, you got 3 tanks. That's the majority of your free hit targets rather than getting into the backline. And you want to make sure that crossbow of tank hits for as much damage as possible.
And so far, I mean, for you guys tuning in and don't know what is happening, well, we just have a tech pause from Red Esports, and while we try to figure out what is going on, you're gonna be with us for a while.
Yep, it's gonna take some time. It's going to take some time.
You know, my favorite thing, I always have this vision. We can host like our own personal podcast. Problem is, I haven't thought of a topic.
I think that's like, what, 80% of all podcasts out there, where it's just like, what are we talking about?
That is true. I recently, well, not recently, actually, I've been following this one, which is I think a pretty interesting one. It's called Red Flags. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's basically people submitting.
Is that the local one? Yeah,
that's the local one. People submitting
yeah.
stories of just a horrible relationship stories and gets read out to the public.
Oh, I don't know if I could do one of those, man. I feel like I die on the inside a little bit. Like, I struggle to watch the button of all things.
At least you're not the one writing it, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Reading it is always easier.
Reading is way easier, but I can just empathize. Some of the stories. Yikes. All right, getting back into this game so far. We're 9 minutes in. 2 more minutes until we're expected to see Team SMG hit their item power spike. If they get delayed, that will put them at 12 minutes to hit the item power spike, because we are seeing that 3 members from the side of Red Esports are significant. Well, actually, 1 is significantly ahead of the curve.
I'm going to try and kill Aaron, but this is not an easy target. They're using everything on him and still has that ult. Doesn't even need to use it. Big
Flat
problem. Back out coming in. Mao. Whoa, there's no one is sidestep everything.
Oh boy, that was a good backstep with the conceal there from D. But now Mao is coming in, and this is going to escalate.
They're gonna dive him anyways. They have the members. Kautenzi can even arrive in time. They've already lost D. Heavy spin is gonna be available. Miku goes for the flicker. Missouri not so lucky. Clip by the Farsa. Kim gets a free kill. And Red Esports, they're still going, but the Xavier ultimate is gonna start hurting. Dawning Light is there. Empowered abilities coming right through. Aaron flickers away right into Supergirl and just burns to death thanks to the damage over time. Supergirl still going. Ends up losing his life to Kim, who survived with little of health. But all things considered, nothing much was lost. Kautenzi, can you survive? The crossbow tank pops at the last second. Double for Mel, blocked in by the wall, but he just hops over it.
Yup, wow. Okay, finally, things are escalating for Red Esports. They were about to trade 2 for 2 like it was nothing, right? Like nothing ever happened. But luckily, Mel coming up huge there, able to secure another 2 kills for himself, pushing Red Esports in a very comfortable lead right now. And if they can take this Lord without it getting stolen, they should be able to develop this with the number of towers. How many outer towers do they still have left? They have 5 outer towers for the side of Team SMG. They can pretty much clear the first wave, the first layer of it, and arguably a tier 2.
I don't. Yeah, they can't contest at all. The Akai was down during that period, so Red Esports finally finds the first major lead of this match. Now it's really starting to hurt. 3-0 and 2 on the 1-1.
It's looking real good. It's looking mighty fine here. And for a fact that Team SMG needs to kind of protect this mid-tier 1, right? That's where you're seeing the majority of their members starting to move down and bottom, clear up that wave first, stagger it, and then go back into the mid. Hopefully clear it in time, because it looks like Red Esports are forcing on all different frontiers.
Yeah, you saw how Supergirl lost majority of his health just to Mel alone. Can't really get on top of the 1-1. Amao coming in with the flank, Feather Astra used as well. Supergirl trying to get out with the help of the Akai. Kautenzi with a heavy spin, saving his teammate. The Dawning Light also shot out as well. Amao, first one to go down, but the target is going to be Mel, the most important one.
Yeah, this fight has already distracted Red Esports and staggered their waves perfectly, right? Now it allows Mitsuri to actually sit on top of this Lord, free-hit it. They sacrifice the tier 2. Oh no.
Oh, they get the Iron Hook on the Kautenzi. Doesn't have his ultimate. Ends up going down to Mel. And the crossbow tank again goes off. He's basically steamrolling over the front lines of Team SMG. Aaron is going to buy time. Supergirl wants Mao. I don't think he has enough damage. No. But they do snipe Kim with the Xavier. Supergirl forced to flicker away, and Missouri can't find a way in.
Yeah, nothing much they can do at this point. But now, this is where the game actually gets interesting for both of the teams, right? Team SMG can't just sit back and let this happen.
Oh, the flicker wild charge actually misses. So Mao gets the back off. The Iron Hook does get negated. And Aaron still has decent health to work with. Mel comes in again. Missouri losing massive HP. They do drag Aaron back, finally gets rid of him. And Mao, perfect hook onto Miku of all people. How did it slip right through the SMG? I don't know how that happened, but Kautenzi needs to back out right now. Amao back in the fight. They get the Bloody Hunt on top of Supergirl. He's gonna go down.
Oh, okay. The snipe does not connect. I was wondering whether Mitsuri was actually going to connect with it, but it's fine. It's fine. Escalating situation here. Red Esports unable to break into that 5K mark. Oh, now they do, finally, after being able to secure a couple of objectives on their side, and more importantly, able to clear out those waves. Ibal farming very happily in his own jungle. In the meantime, right, Team SMG, you can definitely tell that they're becoming a little bit more resistant to Red Esports. Each and every single one of these engagements have, well, either turned out into a 50-50 or they lose by 1 kill to Red Esports.
The fight was so extended that the Lord is now back up again. This time, SG, they have the waves pretty much contained for now. He's managed on that bottom side, but Amao is already there at the Lord.
Yep, he's going to start this off real quick. Again, you expect Red Esports to be the ones who start take the initiative to basically everything in this game until Team SMG feels comfortable, right? And I don't know when they're going to feel comfortable. I thought by 3 items it should be fine, but even now, you can see that they're just looking for angles.
Yeah, Mel gets tagged. They get the bloody Iron Hook onto Kao Tianzi. He's just gone. No more jungler to contest this Lord. SMG got a back off right now. Mao, he's just running in. He's checking all these areas. And Team SMG, they gotta be on the run right now. Lord for Red.
Yep. Passive gameplay is eventually going to get punished, and this is Red's opportunity to get another actually get a full inhibitor for themselves and maybe look to end the game, right? Because again, Team SMG, their high ground defense is very dependent on both Xavier and as well as Beatrix. If they can get a pick on either one of these heroes, Team SMG is in a lot of trouble.
Now, one hook to end it all. We saw him somehow catch Xavier in the entire pile of people. He just needs to do it one more time. Mao, diligent. That hook connects. Super go. Can't even split. Oh, they're gonna do it for him, and Mao is already inside. What happened? That's already 2 for him. Red Esports have just won this game in a blink of an eye. Kao Tianzi losing health. Missouri against the entire world, but the crystal is gonna go down. Red Esports with game 1.
I'm just at a loss of words. What happened to Team SMG there? It felt like they just stopped thinking after a certain point. There was definitely, like, the Akai's Heavy Spin should have canceled the Feathered Airstrike, and he knows for a fact that the Farsa does have the Purify, so he just has to stick there a little bit longer. It's not like he was needed anywhere else. And the same can be said about having the Grok. You had the Nature's Barrier, a good way and a reliable way to cancel out the Feathered Airstrike. Like, Kim should not have got that many shots off.
Even the Purify doesn't help with that, right? It gets cancelled regardless.